Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I'm Ringru, hello.
And folks, we're taking a break from covering on the round robin stuff to kind of give you a little bit of the brawl over Brest, which happened this past weekend. Rang, on Brest West, what will you tell us about this tournament and who's fighting today?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have Herr Robert playing as Panzer Lehr Vanguard income, and on the right-hand side we have Spanischer Ritter playing as 3rd Armored Division, US, with a balanced income. This is the Brest Rush tournament, which Khan said happened last weekend. Short one-day single elimination tournament, pretty much playing on all the maps that have been added in the last update. So yeah, just good old 1v1s, and as we notice, it's close combat.
Yeah, I was super excited about that when I saw the map pop up this way. Now, Panzer Lehr 3rd US, these are definitely Western divisions that have been transplanted over here. How are they going to match up both against each other and on this kind of unique close combat setup?
Both are definitely very heavily armoured divisions with lots of armour. Herr Robert going for more of an A-phase rush, which you can do now with SC2 due to how you can set your own income. But you got some pretty good A-phase unit. You can get like A-phase Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs, Panthers of course, with Panzer Lehr. So maybe we'll see some heavy tank play from Herr Robert. Maybe more infantry play. It's not the best thing for Panzer Lehr. For Spanischer Ritter, it's a nice close quarters map, so Sherman should do pretty decent stabilizers and all of that. And yeah, off we go. And Spanish are taking a very defensive position, really. Most of his infantry has actually just been unloaded.
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of like that, because I feel like on this kind of map, you need to make sure you can control the crossings. And that central crossing right there is exceedingly important. Yeah. So you lose that, and you lose the coordination between your northern and southern halves.
Yeah. He's just got a very defensive position. Honestly, it does make sense here, because he's playing a balanced income versus a Vanguard and A-phase. So you will just kind of automatically put on the defensive duty at 50-point difference.
One thing he's got to do is be a little bit more aggressive, because you can see already it's 15-9.
Yeah.
Because these rinky-dink little PKM squads are taking an awful lot of territory.
Yeah, it's pretty easy territory for Herr Robert, with really not much issue on his end.
Fair enough. Now, we are going to see, of course, a lot of flamethrower troops early. They're trying to take advantage of that Jeep mobility. Both cheap and Jeep, for that matter. But, actually we see an edgelord play coming over here, slashing over the northern edge of that map, which is probably a good idea when you think about it. There's very, very little German presence on that northern side. Yeah,
just a Panzergren and an IG-18, so he should be able to push through and capture that forest. Like, close quarters, those armoured rifles do pretty good thanks to all that semi-automatic weaponry.
Now, the thing I think I'm a little bit surprised by is that there's very little recon being kind of developed from both sides. We are going to see actually a very early Panther D being brought into the south. That's what you're talking about, that heavily armored push. But there's more than their share. 57 mils and 76 mils are dotted around, so I don't know how well that's necessarily going to go.
Yeah, bloody 6-pound 57mm AT guns, to be proper here, are really good. The American ones not so much compared to the British, as they don't have APCR cells, but at 12 rounds a minute, even if you're not penetrating the Panther, by God, you can get a lot of critical hits.
You certainly can. Now, we are seeing a little bit of action happening up top. The Germans have realized, oh, wait a second, we actually have some enemies. And you'll see P-47's going to come in and strafe this IG-18 to death.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if he survives this. Yes, sir?
Yeah, it's going to be very deadly. Strafe and run, yeah. And God, I really do like seeing these rest in front divisions again. I do miss him from SD44. So it's just good seeing, some American armor, some American firepower.
Other than the, Lend-Lease stuff.
Yeah, other than the Lend-Lease stuff. The Russians do have an M3 Leo, and the Americans don't have that for obvious reasons.
Basically, that was significantly outdated by the time they got there? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Now, if we are going to see that recon after all, a Piper recon plane looking to get a little bit of eyes on the center part of the map. But it remains 13-11, and while that northern push is going to go very well, at least until IG-18 gets up, not sure I really like Spanischer Ritter's early position here.
Yeah, defensive opening definitely hurt him a little bit in terms of points. I mean, he is starting to lose his southern side a bit, as Robert is pushing And yeah. Honestly, to be fair, this is a pretty hard map to push on both sides. There's a lot of hills, there's a lot of forest. It can be really, really deadly, especially in the middle for Spanisher's side, trying to attack Restridge. As you just got that firing line here, as you see, I got two IG-18s and a Pack 40 on top.
Very true, and that's the thing that I've seen before. Like that rather meager opening has really kind of put him behind the 8 ball in the center. Now track broken already on the Panther D, so that's really unfortunate. He did not even really get a chance to fight. He's actually probably get taken out pretty quickly here.
Yeah, about 76mm gun. Actually, holding fire now. So I think he's just trying to preserve APCR ammunition maybe on that AT gun. We've got a second Panther being brought in. And nice thing with Panther D's, they're nice and cheap. At only 110 points, you can easily get quite a few of them. And there goes a rinky-dinky little recon plane.
Well, you know what? I mean, the bullies try to take the lunch money first. They want to go after the guy who can fight back.
I know, right?
And we're going to see actually up to the north, the lone P-Run squad does get taken out. And there's now a Panther D, a Fleming Werfer troop. And I thought it was going to be an IG-18, but I guess that got called off at the last second?
Yeah, I guess. But it's a good kind of push from Spanisher trying to take his northern areas. A bit more infantry focus, so he should have a decent time in there.
True, though even, I mean, the Fleming Werfer troops going to get, that's a donation right there.
Yeah.
But by the same token, the heavy flamethrower being brought in from the Americans, he's not going to have too much of a good time either. So I can't help but feel that maybe a strafing gun or two might be the word of the day here. As it is, though, more flamethrowers, another P-Run, another Panthers. So the north, I think, is going to be stabilized quite well.
Yeah, geez, this is a lot of Panthers. I mean, it's exactly what you want to do with a Vanguard opening, just try to get most of the income early on. And these Panthers are going to make short work of these 75mm Shermans.
If they see them.
If they see them, it's an issue. And also, all of Spanisher's infantry, they have bazookas, and bazookas are pretty good at killing Panthers.
Yep, even though I still have the same issue with bazookas that I did before. 100% right. Now, we are seeing finally, at long last, the P-Run squad does get taken out, and I'm surprised it only took a little single flamethrower troop to do it. But regardless, I guess that kind of just goes to show you, you cannot live by K98s alone. You have to sit down, fire, have a nice base of fire before you move forward.
Yeah, exactly. Let them MG42 do the talking.
Meanwhile, that half-track is probably peeing himself as he realized, oh my god, it's not just infantry.
Yeah, Panther has kind of made his acquaintance. And now the plane has to get the kill.
Elsewise, though, other places in the map, no one's really kind of too concerned about this, and I completely understand. I think Herr Robert just wants to lay back and take his territory, and Spanischer Ritter, he's focused an awful lot on this northern side.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to the armored rifles, like you said. Those armored rifles are sliding up and around. They're going to pick on that Panther D pretty quickly, and that's going to be brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gone to the forest, so that's going to be a real sneaky player. I do like how Spanisher's got his Sherman up into that northern middle area of the armored rifles. That's a pretty good spot. Panther is coming around the hill. And yeah, you're going to make short work of the Sherman.
I would tend to think so.
Yeah.
It's desperately undergunned right there. There we go. And there was a radio command as well, so not the greatest loss, but it's still very much a force multiplier that is no longer there.
Yeah.
We're seeing a couple of P4s now. It looks like Herr Robert did not invest inordinately inside those Panther Ds. He's bringing up some main battle tanks as well.
Yeah, I think those Panther Ds, with regular cards, you get 2 to 3 per card roughly in A phase. I think like only 1 to 2 leader per card in A phase. So yeah, definitely a good idea to boost up with some Panther forces. Yeah, a little bit more plentiful.
Very true. Now, looking down at the south, just real quick, we have actually the commander being brought on in super early, or relatively early, I would say, in phase, in the battle overall. It always interests me to watch where officers get brought in. Do they kind of stick up in the middle? Do they stick them on the sides? And I guess further thought about it kind of needs to kind of go by the wayside. As the armored rifles are pierced in the middle, and the Americans are no longer happy just being on their side of that little itty-bitty stream.
Yeah, he's starting to move him up through the forest, and that's going to be a pretty good position. He's probably not going to get all the way to the other side on top of the hill where the IG-18s are, because that's just too much of a hassle. But he can easily grab 2, maybe 3 flags in the middle here if he continues his assault.
True. Now, I think the Panther D up to the north got picked off. Yep, I think he definitely did.
Yeah, he got zooked.
Interesting, by the way, we're seeing a couple of Bofors here and there dotted about the map. Not going to be the greatest to be right on the front lines, but hey, if that's what works for you.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a silly position with that northern Bofors also, but definitely made a good reason for, because he doesn't like that Focke-Wulf flying around.
True, but the Focke-Wulf, I think, I guess the P-47 on a head-to-head? Really? That was an interesting decision. Otherwise, though, we are seeing anti-tank guns are picking off and taking their pound of flesh here and there. Pretty much wherever you turn, so gotta be careful. I'd like to see some more artillery out of both sides, actually. Or any artillery, to be fair.
Yeah, both sides got really good mortar half-tracks. And this is a map that really promotes mortar half-track play. So CQC, you can hide in forests. It's just your mortar half-tracks. Only artillery you need most of the time.
Now, we are going to have ourselves a couple of ground attack planes. Indeed, we have Focke-Wulfs making gun runs on this infantry to the north, which I think is a great call under the circumstances. You don't have the infantry early on as Panzer Lehr. You got to go and invest as much as you can in suppression material.
Yeah, just try to get that advantage. The Panzer IVs are coming in to support the Panther. 76mm gun is getting shots onto it, but not getting any killing blows, unfortunately, for the 76.
Well, the P2, P4s, I'm surprised the P4s are not engaging at this point either. I guess there's a little bit of wonky sight lines with that small compound right there.
Yeah, I think, now he's finally getting him into position to support. Once again, like you said, Khan, it's a perfect use of artillery to knock out an AT gun for the Panther.
Yeah.
Instead of just slowly pinging it one by one with every 75mm shell.
And running the risk of it taking you back out.
Exactly. But he does get the kill, and that's going to remove the AT threat up north. Just for now, still 57mm gun, yeah, but he's not in the best position either.
Well, looks like he's about to be. Very tight sight line there. Wow, he saw exactly 100 meters square, and he put a round right in the middle of it.
Damn, real good gunnery from the AT gun.
Now, actually, I do like this. We see the P-47s are trying to make some gun runs to the south. Unfortunately for them, there's a Gepard right there, and maybe we'll see a kill? It's unlikely, but he's already trailing some smoke.
Yeah, like 20mm guns, definitely always underrated as anti-aircraft guns, but they can be really deadly, as you can see. Especially in 1v1s, they're much cheaper than getting 37, 40mm, for example. And most of the time in 1v1s, you don't need to really kill a plane, you just need time to piss off.
Exactly. And nothing says piss off like a 20mm rapid-fire cannon.
Yeah, or 4 of them strapped together.
True. Very, very true. But the Gepard's like the one Flak 36, yeah?
Yeah, it's just one gun, and yeah. It's a one-gun anti-aircraft machine.
A one Gewehr pony, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a German phrase in there somewhere, but forget it.
You can always make one up.
Oh, I thought about it, but there's too much like work in the moment. Recon plane doesn't even get to the front lines, one burst of fire, and of course he immediately goes out.
Yeah.
But Spanischer Ritter, he's taking the trees, and he's starting to reduce anything in the center part of the map. I'm surprised there's been no real reinforcement there.
Yeah, he is starting to gain momentum back just for his middle assault, and it's working well for him. I mean, once again, his infantry do fare much better in the forest compared to Panzer Grenadiers. But, yeah, Herr Robert's just more focused getting tanks at the moment, getting out a Tiger and a Panzer IV.
La Tigre. Where is La Tigre?
Yeah,
oh, there he is.
As he chugs on up to the battlefield.
Indeed. Indeed. Now, I see an M1919 over here engage and take out an IG-18. And remind us, I recently saw this discussion on a forum someplace. I was talking about why didn't the Germans use some sort of machine gun that was colorful to the M1919 or the Modus. And then one of the responses that struck me as funny was like, why use that when you had the 20mm in the first place? Like, looking at the German material, if we're going to go big, you might as well go big. I'm not going to use like a machine gun that's going to take an extra level of recovery of manufacture. Just didn't make a whole lot of sense. I was really curious about that, though.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good point.
But along with other meaningless discussions that have absolutely no point whatsoever, we are going to see a third recon plane coming out to the map. Very brave, very noble, and soon to be very dead, I'm sure.
For sure. I mean, the other two have kind of gone down in bursts of flames. So that's 3 times the charm. His Piper is not going to be flying much longer.
Probably not. And in fact, I think he's probably fighting for the wrong side. Wasn't Piper commanding the German tanks?
He's fleeing in the air now.
Is this going to be taken up by ground? Yes, it should be probably taken up by ground fire here.
Yeah.
Yep.
This 120 mil, all you need.
Yep. Meanwhile, in the center, M4A1 trying to engage some of this infantry, and unfortunately for him, he's looking the wrong direction.
Yeah, and he is very dead now.
Not sort of dead, not mostly dead.
Very dead. Armored rifles are making a push on the hill, clearing out the Pack 40, and if they move up closer, they could juke the Tiger.
That would just be heartbreaking. Never mind. Problem solved. Not perfectly, mind you, but still problem solved.
At least he knows it shares, but he's still moving up the Tiger, which is still a risky move without infantry support. He really shouldn't be doing that.
What is war without a little bit of risk?
Yeah.
But we have been deep into Phase B right now, and actually, I'd like we see the 259s with those recon autocannons. Those guys are just so freaking powerful, and they're just so cheap, too.
They are. Just... You never go wrong with autocannon units. And finally, Herr Robert getting our mortar hard track up north. That's definitely going to help out here. But yeah, it's 13-11. Herr Robert still has the lead. Spanischer is starting to show, signs of coming back. But yeah, I think Herr Robert set up a pretty good defense now to stop his middle. So I don't think Spanischer is going to be making much more progress here.
Nope, I don't believe so either. And honestly, I'm surprised that Herr Robert has allowed these Northern Americans to stay there as long as they have.
Oh yeah, that one guy in the forest?
Yep. Now, Panther to the north does go down by a newly arrived 76 mil, which is just disheartening for the Germans. But nice necessary kill over here from the Spanish knight himself.
Yeah, good. That's good AT gun placement for sure. Yeah, it's mainly... He hasn't really been using that many tanks, honestly, Spanischer. It's mainly a lot of infantry play, and the tanks have really just been regular M4s. No jumbos, no 76 mils. So maybe that's more of a C-phase thing he's going for.
Well, if that's the case, at that point, we're just going to see tank spam. And we can definitely see already a couple of Shermans kind of sitting off the front lines, just kind of hanging out, doing their thing. But how do you see this developing in Phase C, then? Let's say each player continues to play like they have been in the first place. So let's say Spanischer Rights doesn't go and bring in artillery. What goes on?
I think just as long as Sir Robert can just keep the defensive line up, he should be able to win. He probably want to maybe try to get a +2 to run a little bit faster, but it really depends how Spanischer has his C-phase set up. I mean, obviously he's playing balance, so he should have a lot of C-phase cards, so maybe he can just Sherman spam, infantry spam, get some artillery, half-tracks of his own to push to victory.
The armored rifle that before could have gone and taken out that Pack 40, coming off of the whole embarrassing engagement, takes out the IG-18.
And now he's sneaking around. And look, the fucker are also trying to blind strafe him, but they have no idea where he is.
We are going to see that double half-track in the center, and along with this P4 is going to be able to engage, I think, both the LMG rifles and the Sherman when he comes through the gap. Yeah, that's brutal.
That's a good hit. Sherman's going to get return fire, and not as good of a hit.
But somehow that sight damage basically said, oh, I'm blind. Well, apparently you're deaf and dumb too, sir, so...
Yeah, the Panzer IV really ripped that second shot, but the third one comes in clean.
Outside of that, armored rifles do get picked off. I could not tell you from what. Another mortar half-track comes on in from the Germans. And I cannot wait until Sherman Wagons come back into this game.
Oh, it's a good map for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Amphibious landings, my friend.
Yep. But yeah, Herr Robert's actually taking the offensive, getting the momentum right now, and this is exactly what he needs to do. Just try to push a little bit further, capture another flag, get the plus to advantage, and try to steal the victory.
Well, he's a good chunk of the way there already. But we can see actually a couple of 76 mils being brought in just south of that central bridge. You can see the southwest of all those LMGs, which would cause quite an issue if he gets to an actual decent spot. Where he is right now, not the highest value.
Yeah. But yeah, this is good momentum from Robert in general. And the main thing that Robert has done is a lot of his heavy armor is still alive. Like, the Southern Panthers are all good. The Tiger's still alive. He's got another Tiger being brought in. Up north, he has not as much heavy armor anymore, but a bunch of Panzer IVs, which is very important with, you know, Vanguard, Maverick income. Like, Panzer, or tank division in general, try to keep your tanks alive, because going to be harder to replace them later on.
Yes, indeed. Now, the central town also looks like it's going to get, you know, wailed on quite a bit as infantry starts to get yeeted by that APHE. And again, we can go and say that things are completely worthless as an anti-tank weapon, but against anti-infantry, oh my god, it's devastating.
Yeah.
Ooh, but a B-26 come back to the other direction has something to say about it. I think we're probably going to see 2 dead vehicles.
Yeah,
may not make it out, though. Oh, wow. Nothing.
Nothing. But everything is completely suppressed, and the B-26 is going to escape, I believe. There's a rather sturdy aircraft.
He's a little hot under the collar, though. Let's not kid ourselves.
But it's going to slow down that push, though, and give Spanischer some time to hopefully get some more reinforcements into the middle. That's exactly where he's going to get them for Command Sherman.
Now, we do have a couple, an M4A3 looking south from the northern side there, trying to engage that Tiger, and I think we know how well this is going to go for him.
Not well at all.
Probably not.
Yeah, I have a feeling this... Yeah, oh no, never mind. He's got 76mm Sherman. Because he really does need those 76mm Shermans at the moment to try and knock out some of Herr Robert's heavy armor.
Well, he's bringing in P-47s to strafe Pack 40s, which I kind of get, but... Bro, you know there's a ton of anti-air there.
Yeah, and also Focke-Rolls, which like to make an introduction.
Yep, but they're going to definitely tell him to fuck off. That's one.
One. Is it going to get the second?
Ground fire might. Holy heck.
Hell, yeah. We got the flak villains.
Now, M4A3 goes down. CGMC does keep the Focke-Rolls at bay. But now knowing that that's there, I think as it was, there was a pack I think that was engaging it, and yep, I think you can still see him, maybe? No, it's going to have the machine gun. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point, Herr Robert just has a critical mass of tanks. Like, this is so much armor Spanischer's gonna have to kill, and it's gonna be very tough for him.
Very true. What's more, also the LMG rifles coming on in as a couple in the center, in that center town. I rank these guys just a little bit above by air such trooping, so I mean, I'm being very unfair. That's not fair. But I guess I feel like infantry has to have an anti-tank component to be an effective unit, especially in SD2. You clearly disagree with me, but let me explain this reasoning.
Okay.
At this point, considering a lot of the much more close quarters that you have, and the kind of cost efficiency really that you have out of tanks, losing a singular tank is It's hard, but it's not quite as devastating as it used to be.
That's true.
So I feel like you need to have that increased utility among everything. So yes, STGs, awesome. PPSHs with Molotovs, sure, go for it. But I feel like you need to have that extra punch consistently.
Yeah, I feel like infantry can be split in two categories in SD2. They either kill infantry, or like you use them to like kill infantry but also kill tanks.
Okay. Yeah, you go for the whole Gork and Mork approach, which kind of makes sense given your recent hobby activities. That makes sense. I get that. I guess for me, I wish I would make units and builds very all around, which I guess does kind of lend itself to a kind of a negative. Ooh, 76 mil is going to start to engage these Tigers. Driver knocked out.
Yeah, Tiger's in a very risky position right on the road here and so close together. AT guns can have a fun time, but it's only 176 mil, so it's not too bad.
What is bad, though, is that the Germans are not engaging him.
No. You get that mortar online. Also, Spanisher has not used any in artillery so far, and I think it's a real detriment to his cause.
Nobody has used, though. Recon planes.
He has. And I do like seeing recon planes out, but they're very cheap. They keep dying, but at the same time, they're like, what, 10
or
points?
15, yeah.
And you get, like, quite a few Empire cards, so it's not too bad. But still, it doesn't really feel like they've had much impact. They'd have more impact if there's artillery to help out.
True.
But, no. But yeah, it's a great push from Herr Robert in the middle here. He's throwing everything in the kitchen sink to try to capture this town on the river.
Well, it's good property values. I get it.
It is. I think the property value is going to go down after all the destruction.
No. That's called terrace gardening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. Architecture is so bizarre.
Yeah.
But the recon plane survives, courtesy of the CGMC.
Not for much longer. It's a flight fill in has a 20mm of its name on it.
Well, if that one doesn't, then there's another one to the south. Oh, Gepard to the south. Yep, elevator ripped off. Another B-26. Looks like he's going to go and probably pressure this infantry assault. I feel like they toned back the B-26 quite a bit in terms of killy.
Yeah, that one's only the the small bomb, carpet bomber run. I believe it's a bigger bomber version and carries larger bombs instead. But it's only dropping 45 kilogram bombs or something, if I recall.
Yeah, but 20 of them at the same time. I just feel like there should be a lot more devastation from it. Now, down to the south, it's worth noting there was this engineer push that came in and would have been really great had it come, 15 or 20 minutes earlier. And I guess the thing that's starting to hit me right now, we haven't really seen that much veterancy, really, from either side.
No, that's just kind of a thing of SD2, honestly. It's not really worthwhile most of the time to really take veterancy in a lot of your units. It's just the quantity is really the quality in SD2.
Fair enough. But you know what? It looks so pretty, and don't you want to have some stuff like that helping you out every now and again?
Yeah. That's the one thing I don't like about SD2 over SD44. In SD44, it was like, you could argue that veterancy is a little bit too overpowered. Desert Ratch. But it actually kind of made it was a bit more of a decision in deck building to choose whether you wanted vetted units or not.
Yeah.
Or in SD2, 90% of the time, I just take unvetted units, especially infantry, because they're just gonna die regardless. I just need spam.
And I imagine if they were living, breathing people, we'd care a little bit more about that. But you're right. In the circumstances, when all you kill are sprites, does it matter?
Yeah.
I say that, my computer's now heard me, so I guarantee there'll be a BSOD at some point in my near future.
Skynet ruin MBS.
Exactly. The P-51 takes vengeance upon that Gepard to the south.
Jesus Christ, P-51. This isn't these, really strafing days, but, he does pay the iron price.
He does, but let's also talk about the fact that there's actually this half-track behind enemy lines right now.
He's gonna drive back to America at this rate.
Yeah, from the Eastern Front.
Yeah.
But the central town is in German hands, and despite the best efforts of this command, M4A1, which I think has been there pretty much since the beginning of this match. No, what isn't in their hands, though, is we have this small push happening, and M4A176, the M4A1's sidling east to west over here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Until recently.
This southern push is a very good idea from Spanisher, so it's gaining him some ground. He's managed to knock out those Panthers about very initially, and Herr Robert had to get some armor to respond. I don't think it's going to completely work, yo, as you got the Panzer IV kind of like up north shooting down, and we've got two Tiger and a Panther here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said before, I think Herr Robert really just managed to amass that critical mass of tanks, and Spanisher just can't deal with it.
Well, and without losing a ton of his infantry either. We've always talked about the fact that Panzer Lehr is not the most gifted when it comes to those ground forces. Certainly not in the numbers.
Indeed, you really have to make your Panzer Grenadiers count. As you can see, I'm fairly certain Herr Robert has only taken Panzer Grenadiers. Yeah, he has no Pioneers or anything. Just
no
full on PZ Grand Span, because that's what you can really afford in terms of availability.
True. Now, there was a brief time that we had these Shermans kind of engaging to the north and actually getting some good pressure. Unfortunately, they're still not able to kill the Tigers.
Nope. That's kind of the problem with 75mm Shermans in this game. An SC-44, you would definitely have a very good chance of killing Tigers with 75mm. SC-2, it's just not going to happen. It's too hard to get close enough. Heck, even close enough, your gun just does not have penetration.
Well, that was the other thing too. Is that the armor pen values are a little bit more sensical in 44.
Yes. Like, for example, the Tiger and SC-44 had 12 armor value, and the Sherman had 11 AP. So, if you got in like close by an extra 200 meters, you'd have like a chance to penetrate.
I'm amused by the fact there's been these B-26s, which had this air artillery been, used a little bit earlier, there might have been a greater contributor, I would say, to the match. Unfortunately, I don't think he called them in early enough.
Yep. I'm also sad we haven't seen the jumbos.
That's
so cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually pretty useful, because they literally just tank a bunch of shots and draw fire away from your 76mm.
That kind of makes sense. I mean, they're big, they're endangered, there's not many of them you see in the wild. I get it. Mm-hmm. It's just they have their own oomph,
Yeah, they only made like 254 of them, but I do want to see a few. I think it's a number. Something around there.
I'll take your word for it.
Cool.
What we have seen, though, is seeing a lot of M4 Shermans really not be able to stand up to their German counterparts. I'm surprised, actually, that we've seen as many P4s survive as we have.
Same here. I think, Herr Robert's been using them pretty defensively. For the most part, he's really been leading all of his assaults with their heavier cats. But yeah, it's pretty much going to be a Herr Robert victory. Spanisher really does not have the oomph to push back at this rate.
I'll be amused to watch this 37mm from the CGMC. Oh, jeez. The half-track. Oh my god, really?
Only HE shells.
Yeah, but he's cheating. He's got 2 M4A1s behind.
I know.
Wow. There's some really nifty sightlines on this map. I always kind of fail to appreciate it.
Oh yeah. That is like bizarre, looking at the Tiger and Panther in the middle.
And the CGMC goes down to a mortar. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Let's also talk about the fact that the anti-air cover here has been phenomenal from Herr Robert.
Yeah, he hasn't been messing around, and he's managed to keep his Focke-Wulfs alive. Yeah, it's just good anti-air play.
Now, if this is the Battle of the Bulge, the Americans would have pulled off the feat of sneaking German-speaking Americans behind enemy lines. Regrettably, we are not living in that mirror universe, and looks like you said, Rang, that this will come down to a Panzer Lehr victory.
Technology prevails in the end, I guess.
That's weird, because you used to say that basically the German stuff was over-engineered, over-machined, and overdone.
But when you get enough of him,
Sure.
with all the armor, and by God, look at that KD. Yeah, it's a 2,000 KD difference.
Well, one of the fuckables, he actually is a mastodon, so I'm going to use his proper scientific name. He's an instant ace.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit cheating there, shooting down recon planes, but we'll give it to him.
Okay, fine. How about Jonas down there, the quad flak-wielding? He's got 1 recon kill, but then 3 legit kills.
Oh, yeah. He's like a ground ace, or almost a ground ace. If that's even a thing. Probably not.
It is. Ground ace is a thing.
Okay.
A Tiger is 3/5 of the way there. Frankel, we've talked about it pretty much to death. Might have been a better idea to bring in some earlier stronger armor, and some artillery.
Yeah, artillery and heavy AT. That's really what Spanisher needed. That's what the doctor orders.
Yeah, but you got to make sure you take that script to the right pharmacy, and unfortunately, it didn't seem like it happened today.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, Spanisher, we always love seeing you play, and thank you for actually bringing forth that 3rd Armored. It's great to see some of the old holdouts come back again to the other side of the war.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Herr Roberts. So, I think we bring another Brawl over Brest game on Thursday, don't we?
Yes, we will.
So, folks, come and check back in with that one. Until then, Ryan, do you have any more pearls of wisdom?
We haven't made a Brest joke this entire time.
I've been trying to keep them covered, Don't worry, guys, I'll make up for that on Thursday. Until then, though, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Ryan Rue. Take it easy.